Hey guys, I'm Brent Grenna, founder and CEO of EverTrue. Anybody on Twitter today? Seriously? Okay, that's good. I think it's EI Summit is the hashtag. Going to start today by going back in time. That was me growing up in Northeast Iowa about 15 years ago with the 3 best pigs in all of Winneshiek County. Seriously, they were the 3 best. At that time in my life, one of my goals was to be the first member of my family to go to college. And I was really fortunate to be recruited by Brown University to play football. What was unfortunate is that I was the 8th string fullback on the Ivy League leading passing offense my freshman year. Kept at it though and ended up serving as captain of the team my senior year. And going to Brown totally changed my life. As a first-generation college student, it introduced me to the networks and the opportunities that all of us in this room, if you're at this conference, you've been a part of. And so when I graduated from Brown, as captain, I had access to the Football Association mentoring program, and a couple of alumni helped me get my first job. Ended up moving to Chicago. I spent 2 years at William Blair & Company in the investment banking analyst program. And when I moved out there, I didn't know anybody. So I volunteered to be the local alumni club leader for the Brown Club of Chicago. Networking nights, happy hours, Cubs games. I was that guy trying to get people to connect around the affinity a long way from campus. And the people that I met along the way actually hired me for my second job. They sponsored one of my events as a volunteer, then hired me to join Madison Dearborn Partners, where I spent 2 years. And then they wrote my recommendation letters to Harvard Business School. So in 10 years, I went from a farm in Iowa to Harvard Business School, not because I'm smarter than anybody else, but because of the networks and the people who took a chance on me, just because we happened to both go to Brown. So when I got to HBS, somebody from Brown came up and they asked if I'd help lead my 5th reunion fundraising campaign. And I said, absolutely. I love my experience, and everything that I've done with Brown has been so positive. So I volunteered to lead that campaign. Then they sent me this, which is a spreadsheet of my classmates that they wanted me to utilize to track down and solicit funds for our reunion target. Not only was it a spreadsheet, and I was really busy, it was largely filled with inaccurate information. They didn't know where people worked, they had parents' addresses, they had the wrong phone numbers, and so I resorted to Facebook, LinkedIn, text messaging, trying to track people down. How many people here have been hounded by somebody for a reunion campaign? Did you give? It's not June 30th yet, but it's coming up soon here. So I was blown away by this, and my initial thought was that Brown is really bad at raising money. I actually found out Brown's pretty good at it. They raise around $250 million a year, thanks to volunteers like me and spreadsheets like that, and systems like this, which cost hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars for them to purchase. In fact, Brown recently purchased the other one, and 18 months into the implementation and a $5 million contract are on the verge of actually canceling that and going back to what they've had since 2003. The system was built before email existed, and so in the right under phones, you can see email as one of the phone types that they include to keep track of folks. When they find out that one of you gets promoted or switch jobs or moves, somebody has to type it into the system, which is why the typical college doesn't know what 90% of its graduates do, which makes it really hard to manage a fundraising campaign. I then went on to learn that $300 billion is donated to nonprofits outside of education, with faith-based being the largest, but education accounting for $40 billion. And while we hear about the foundations all the time, 75% of the gifts come from people, individual people back to the organizations that they support. So if they don't know where you work and they think that your email address is a phone number, it's even more difficult. So we had this vision that, look, who does know where we work? LinkedIn. Who knows what we're interested in? Facebook, Twitter. And so EverTrue is sitting at the intersection of institutional donor databases that are tremendously rich. They know the sports we played, the activities we were involved with, the degrees that we have. They have a balance sheet of who we were at the age of 22 But then as we advance through our careers, they know less and less and less about us until the reunion campaign rolls around and one of your classmates tracks you down and they update that system again. So our first product basically took the idea of the old alumni directory. Anybody ever bought one of those or been tried to, sold one of those? And we decided to make it mobile and integrated with LinkedIn. We built this. Can we switch really quick? So we built this in conjunction with LinkedIn's higher education team. I think this will work. It doesn't. Yeah, really quick. And so the idea is that when young graduates move to Chicago, as I did, or perhaps they come down to the Phoenix area, and they want to know who played football, it should be really easy to know that. And if they want to know what those people do, it should be really easy to know that too. And so I was just looking, actually, I'm going to get together tomorrow with one of my teammates, Chaz. And so by building on top of LinkedIn's API, we get updated career data to know exactly where Chaz works, what his job title is, and every time that he changes something on LinkedIn, it gets updated in our system. But Brown knows that he played football. And so it's those simple sort of intersections that are powering the first version of what we do. And when you have, I just spoke to a bunch of computer science students the other day, and all they wanted to know in San Francisco, who works at Google? Somebody say me? All right. So they can now know that if they were going to be trying to network for an internship or maybe move to San Francisco and they just wanted to know who works in Google, people are literally neighbors. So that was where we started. Can you switch back to the presentation? And so we raised the seed round with that idea. We went through the Techstars program in Boston, and we raised a round from an incredibly diverse group of white guys that have experiences ranging from the co-founders of Bonobos, the former CTO of Blackbaud. Paul Finnegan, in addition to being the CEO at Madison Dearborn, runs the HBS fund chair and a variety of other investors. And since that time, we've added about 140 institutions to our platform, and not just any institutions. We've added 10 of the top 20 private high schools in the country. The blue ones are ours. The white ones aren't. Did anybody go to any of the white ones? Seriously? Okay. Working with great prep schools has actually been a good way to penetrate the higher education market. So we're now working. We've signed 4 of the top 20 private colleges in the last 2 quarters, and we're currently doing pilots with BYU, NYU, Boston University, and we'll be continuing to expand into higher education. Competitive landscape, bunch of legacy players, bunch of new players, largely growing through market feedback. I'm hurrying because I'm running out of time. In the future, we just raised our Series A from Bain Capital Ventures. Brian, what's up, man? Thank you. This is the donor pyramid. So historically, schools have done a tremendous job tracking the wealthiest people. They will take you to dinner, and it will be very fun, but they don't do that until they find out that you made partner 30 years down the road. We believe there's a massive opportunity to focus on the middle of the donor pyramid and actually segment people based on career outcomes and potential to give. In fact, at Princeton University, the people who are least likely to donate have one thing in common. Their last name starts with the letter Z, because nobody gets to the bottom of that spreadsheet. And that's at Princeton, who does it better than anybody else in the world. Myself, co-founder, CTO Eric, there's around 20 of us now. Our newest hire, Jim Zimmerman, he was actually our first client. He ran fundraising at the Middlesex School, Lawrenceville, and the Cates School over the last 30 years, and has been a great addition. If any of you are involved with schools, your kid's school, your own school, you care about your school, and you want to help them raise more money, send me an email, brent@evertrue.com. Thank you.